Apple's silicon implants have changed the game, because where they once put the most powerful Intel chips in their computers, they're now putting iPhone chips in them. And they've never been more successful. But was it the right move? Hi everyone, I'm Sam Tucker, and today we're testing out the fastest Intel MacBook that Apple ever made compared to the latest MacBook Neo that has an iPhone chip in there. That's right, this is the Intel MacBook i9, which is the fastest Intel chip they put in these things. Now, this is the 15-inch version. I think they made a 16-inch, but you know, it's not the size that counts, it's what's on the inside that can make things hot and spicy. And boy, can this make things hot and spicy, because the i9 chip was the one that people had to put in the freezer to get the full performance out of. And as you can tell by the trees, this is macOS Sequoia. That's the latest one that the Apple would let you upgrade to for whatever reason. And in fact, I do believe it's a windy day in the forest here, as the fans have already kicked up.
Thinner, variably spaced fan blades propel air quietly.
Now, when this originally came out, I think it was like at least $2,000 more expensive than the MacBook Neo. But of course, I did get this one secondhand, quite a bit cheaper than the Neo. But that does mean you get some nice complimentary scratches and some scuffs on there for some of the tough love it's received. And on the inside, they've even left a little crumb in there in case I get peckish. So thank you very much. Let's just extract that. If the fans blow up any faster, it'll be able to blow this thing out of there. Is this crumb stuck on with the same glue they use for the batteries or something? Okay, we've now decrumbed the computer. We've got two fast ports on the Pro and one fast and one slow on the Neo. There's the headphone jack on the Neo, whereas it's on the other side on the MacBook Pro, and two additional fast ports. The Neo does have a bigger Apple logo there, but again, size doesn't matter. You can also see the different size in the track pads there. Of course, the Neo with the physical one and the MacBook with the haptic. Let's compare the keyboards. Hey, remember this? This is the touch bar, or as I like to call it, the foo bar, that people weren't the biggest fan of. And even if you didn't like it, too bad, there's no escape. There's no physical escape. That came in a later model. But hey, it gives you instant access to Siri. Or not. You do not have permission to use Siri. Please contact the person who set up your account. But I set up my account. All right, compare that to the regular function keys on the Neo, except I do like the backlitness of the i9 compared to the Neo cheapening out. But one big difference, of course, is the i9 had the classic butterfly keyboard, which had a butterfly's wings worth of travel in it. Ooh, it's not so good. It's almost like a touchscreen with just some bumps on it. Yeah, the Neo's keys, even though they're not backlit, it is nice to feel some actual key travel in there. The keys, they gotta travel around, they gotta go on holiday. These ones, they stay at home and it's not getting us anywhere. Keyboard winner, even without the backlit keys, I gotta give it to the Neo. Looking at the screens now, and even though the MacBook Pro has a bigger screen, the Neo's does get much brighter and I think more saturated. The Pro is still nice and it feels a bit more mature perhaps. It's seen some things, it's gotten married, it's had a divorce, a hard divorce, whereas the Neo, it's fresh, it's like, yes, I'm excited to be alive, anything's possible. Kudos for both of them though for not having a notch. I do like that. Yeah, I think I have to give it to the Neo. All right, let's test out the webcams. All right, and this is the webcam on the MacBook Pro. Compare that, to the MacBook Neo with the iPhone chip, but perhaps the better camera, because I am seeing a lot more definition and a lot more grayness on the Neo. So Apple really getting that high definition. Thank you for that, showing off all the imperfections, but the Neo does a better job at showing all those little ugly spots. I reckon the Neo wins on the webcam. Let's test out the speakers now on another SAMTIME classic.
We all got needs. I'm talking storage needs. I needs me some storage. My phone's filling up and I've had enough. But what's the solution? The solution's a cube for pros and for noobs. You don't need no tools, they're all included.
Well, there's no comparison there. The MacBook Pro does have the superior speakers. Oh, I just discovered something. So you can set the sound on the Neo to output on the Pro. All right, so let's play the song on the Neo again.
Me some storage. My phone
All right, so that's a little solution. If you're annoyed with the MacBook Neo speakers, just have the Pro next to it and beam the sound over. So that way you get the benefits of the Neo with the sound of the Pro and the weight of both. And on the MacBook Pro, the Neo is so new, it shows up as an iMac. So the Pro is a little slow. What? What's a Neo? Does not comprehend. All right, let's test out a bit of the connectivity. We've got a Thunderbolt SSD here. Let's just see what speeds we get on the MacBook Pro. Do we have the fast ports in this? Looks like we're getting maximum speed on this one, 920 write, and look at that, 850 megabits read. So it is looking quite fast. As far as ejecting the disk, it does like to hold on to it. Let me have it. All right, let's test out the Neo. We'll plug this into its fast port. Oh, and the Neo gets just about as fast. Look at that. The fast port in the Neo is indeed a fast port. And let's see, how slow is that slow port? Oh, but yeah, if you plug it into the wrong hole, you're not gonna have a happy time. You're gonna be in trouble. So always focus on which hole you're putting things in to escape any mishaps. So they both have fast external ports, but the MacBook Pro wins out for having 4 fast ones instead of a slow poke. And of course, another limitation on the Neo is how many external displays you can plug in. As this one is limited only to 1, whereas the MacBook i9, I think you can plug in a bunch. Although, I have heard there's one device that allows you to plug up to 3 monitors into any MacBook. And they call it the all-new Prime docking station from this video's sponsor, Anchor. That's right, if you're sick of Tim dictating how many ports and displays you can connect to your MacBook, well, with this 14-in-1 triple display docking station, you can tell him to shush, as connecting a single cable to the dock allows you to attach 3 monitors, up to 2 in 4K and 1 in 8K. It does it with its 2 HDMI ports, 1 display port, and the magic of the Display Link app. Plus, it works with any MacBook running macOS, Ace Ventura, or higher. Whether it's the Neo, the base MacBook, an M2 Pro MacBook Pro, or even Intel MacBooks. The Anchor dock allows you to break all of Apple's limits. It's also a bit like a powered mega dongle, as the dock comes with 3 high-speed USB-C ports, 2 SD card slots, Ethernet, 3 USB-As, and even a headphone jack.
Courage.
All the USB-C ports deliver both power and data, so you can use it to charge your iPhone, iPad, and AirPods all at the same time. Or of course, plug in your external SSDs with maximum speed. And you can monitor the speeds, charging, and external display info on the inbuilt HD screen. Or just use it as a little clock. So what are you waiting for? Break the chains Apple's put on your MacBook and click the link in the description to get yourself a deal on the Anchor Prime docking station today. Let's test out how fast the internal SSD is. MacBooks, start your engines. Go! All right, it's going very fast for the MacBook Pro and, oh geez, not far behind on the Neo. Although much faster read speeds on the Pro compared to the Neo. So there is that, but still quite impressive. The MacBook Pro has a faster SSD, but not by much. Let's try some video editing. Now, last time the Neo did struggle a little bit once the edit got a bit complicated. Let's see how the MacBook Pro holds up. Not bad. I think the i9 does run it a little bit quicker than the Neo. See, this section is not rendered, but it is skimming through it quite nice. I can hear the fans, but they're not revving up, so it's not that unpleasant of an experience. Let's compare that to the Neo. Again, less screen real estate, which is a bit of a shame. And now it's actually playing it a little bit better than it did last time. Maybe it's a little intimidated. It saw the MacBook Pro here and it's thought, gee, I better step up my game. Maybe there's been an update that made it work even better on the Neo. So, gee, so they're both quite good for complex 1080p editing and I'm sure for some basic 4K. I guess they both get a point. All right, let's have a bit of fun. Let's see how these machines game. Something neither of them was really made for. So to test this out, I've put Cyberpunk on both of these machines. Oh no, it's incompatible. Oh, that's a shame. Why did it let me download it then? Freaking Steam. All right, let's install City Skylines. Let's try this one. All right, well, neither of them are breaking any records for speed right now. Oh, they built a real city faster than this took to load. Now the MacBook Pro is not too happy about this. The fans are cranking up a little. As you can see, the face down there, he's not happy about any of this. The MacBook Neo has already built a little suburb here, and we're even gonna put a little residential strip over here. Meanwhile, the Pro, is struggling to build a road. The fan's heating up. I'm trying to build a single road here. Okay, so the click to anything happening ratio is pretty poor on the MacBook Pro. I think the Neo plays this one a bit better. It's a bit smoother. So even on gaming, it seems like the Neo's winning. Wow, the MacBook Pro really cranking up. It had to try hard to be that bad, but it succeeded. All right, but who cares about any of this real world stuff? Let's look at arbitrary numbers. With the performance test, SAMTIME. CPU, multiple threads. Here we go, SAMTIME. I'm excited. Uh-oh. We just got the low battery warning though on the MacBook Pro. We have 1% left on the Pro. Okay, so that's about to die, compared to 75% on the Neo. So let me quickly run and grab a charger, see if it can live to tell the tale. I'm coming, MacBook. Hold on. Quick, get that plug in there. Oh, whew. All right, we've plugged it in just in time. So the Neo really wins in the battery department. Now that's not entirely fair since this is a second-hand computer, but this show isn't about being fair. In fact, I wonder if this will get better performance now that it's plugged in. I don't know. It seemed to have already been winning even without being plugged in. The MacBook Pro has a hefty lead, although it's really letting me know about it. I'll open my special thermal camera app on my phone, and yeah, as you can see, the MacBook Pro is really cooking right now. That's on fire. Compare that to the Neo, ice cold. That's getting to lawsuit heat on the bottom there. Wow, I don't know Apple was allowed to make them that hot. No wonder they put them in the freezer. So interestingly, we've been doing this test for just a few minutes now, and the battery on the Pro has gone up to 38%. It went from 0 to 38 in about 5 minutes. I'm sure that's totally realistic and not at all to be concerned about. No wonder it's getting so hot, it's expanding. This probably started off as a 12-inch computer and just stretched out. All right, the MacBook Pro just finished with 1,804 points, and it's shouting it with all its little fans going on in there. The Neo, still a little bit to go.
A few moments later.
All right, looks like the Neo just finished now, and that has 1,518 points. So yes, the Pro is faster in multi-threads. Let's try a single thread test. And look at this, the Neo just finished its single core test at 530 points, while the Pro is still, was this like halfway done?
2,000 years later.
Whew, well, that took a while. The Pro has finally finished. The Neo, meanwhile, fell asleep waiting for it, and it only got 281 points in the single thread. So the Neo absolutely demolishes the Pro in single thread. So how do I grade this? This one won in multi, but this one won in single. Well, I think the tiebreaker for performance, it's gonna have to come down to the SAMTIME test. SAMTIME has won several awards. Which awards? Don't ask, we don't have time to get into it all. So the MacBook Pro on SAMTIME gets, oh dear, only 92. That's about as low as it goes. Let's do a test on the Neo now. Oh, it only beats it by a little bit, but yes, thanks to the SAMTIME, we now know that the Neo does actually perform a little bit better than the Pro. Again, we see the SAMTIME test is flawless. I mean, sure, these performed well for a YouTuber, but what about a wife tuber? That's right, while I use a lot of Apple's apps like Final Cut for my business, Addie has different needs. More specifically, virtual machine needs. She uses parallels and all sorts of things, so let's see which computer survives the wife test. So what do you think of the i9 computer?
Yeah, okay, so this overall, this has a sleeker, more high-end design. I prefer the butterfly keyboard because it's backlit, and also because it was my first keyboard in the baby 2015 12-inch Mac that Sam broke on the channel. I love this so much. I wish they brought that back. It's like they took the good Johnny Ive design, right? The blindfolded Johnny Ive, and made it create a puro product, or like they just pressed an Inshify button and made the Neo, but slightly, not all the way to Lenovo computers. Sorry to all the Lenovo fan people. I also like the touch bar, except the key is not all the way at the end. So you think you're pressing a key, but see, you're not pressing anything.
All right, and what are your thoughts on the Neo?
Yeah, okay, so the biggest problem for me is the 8 gig RAM in the Neo, because I use parallels and sometimes it gets really slow. The battery is very good. I've been using it for the past month. Never drained the battery, ever. If I had to pick one, probably with the same money, I'd buy like an M1 or an M2 Pro or Air rather than spend the money on the Neo, because in Europe, the Neo is just too expensive. You'd get a better deal buying a second-hand, better computer. With 16, you need the 16 gigs. Like, Apple is lying to you.
Okay, so Addie probably wouldn't buy either, but preferred the i9. Well, there you go. Apple's current entry-level MacBook performs pretty much as well as the best one they made a few years ago. And while they both performed quite well, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with the Neo, just to avoid the butterfly keyboard, and for its brighter, more colourful display. But there you go, the Neo can keep up. Can you keep up with liking and subscribing this video? Try now as fast as you can. And until next time, stay funky everyone. SAMTIME signing off.
Subscribe today.
They say that a butterfly's wings can change the whole course of history. Well, this butterfly keyboard almost made Apple history and put them out of business. Here I go, click. I believe I've clicked, but the game doesn't believe it. Cool down, cool down.
It's all pubes and cat hair over here. That's for the bureau.